Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll need a resistance band and some floor space. We're going to start laying down on our back. So let's make our way there, mindful of how you get down onto the floor. Let's start with the knees bent, the toes facing forward, band handy. Let's place the hands on the lower torso, one at the base of the sternum, the other beneath your navel. And feeling that light touch of the hands on your body. Just a minute here to transition into a time of tending to the body through movement and acknowledgement of our breath and that muscle of our diaphragm moving inside of us. It's taking some time for yourself today, acknowledging this moment, savoring this moment to just be body still, breath flowing, sensing into this moment in time and how you're arriving into this space here today. Not changing it, not needing to change it, just acknowledging, this is it. This is what is present. This is what you're aware of in this moment. And let's bring the right knee into the chest from here. We'll straighten the left leg down to the floor and point through the toes. And then we'll bring that right knee towards your right side waist. And then let's shift sides. Rebend that left knee, right foot goes down. Left knee comes in toward the chest. Right leg goes out, pointing through the toes. And we'll take that left knee towards your left side waist. Good. Let's rebend that right knee, left sole of the foot goes down. And then let's bring that left foot towards us, left knee towards you, and we're going to take that strap around the sole of the foot. So if you're laying here, you're sensing of a big sort of opening. The neck is very open. You might want to put a blanket or some sort of prop underneath your head so you can be here a little more comfortably throughout the sequence. So go ahead and do that before you continue. And when you're ready, we take the foot into the strap, have some of your toes in that strap, have the strap wide around the sole of the foot, and then take your hands nice and close and to the foot, and then we'll pull down on that band. And let's pull down enough that the toes are being sort of tugged toward your face. And then we're going to let the weight of the leg release into that band. Slowly hovering a few inches away from the ground, and then we pull the leg back up. As we do this, let's start to take the tailbone and lengthen it toward the front edge of your surface. Or you can think of that action, so the leg is still moving. You can also think of that action as the hip bones moving away from the low ribs. So we maintain a little tiny, tiny arc through the lower part of your spine. The next time that your leg is lifted, we're going to externally rotate the leg and then continue lifting and lowering. So a slight external rotation, not that full degree that your thigh can rotate, just a little external rotation. Notice if anything feels different in the hip socket when you do that. And then we'll start to circle this leg through space. And now let's start to let the torso, the trunk, sort of move along with that leg circling. So you might notice a different set of pressure, a gentle massage for different parts of your spine as this leg is doing the circle. And then let's take that leg and internally rotate the leg and continue that circle. And you're just going to shift directions every few times. So a slight internal rotation of the leg, and the strap is there, the band is there, supporting the weight of the leg moving through space. Yeah. Good. Good. If any of these rotations don't feel quite right in your hip, you just back off a little bit. Your thigh can be rotated, right, in a variety of ways as we continue with these motions of the leg actually moving through space. So just be mindful of that. Let's straighten this left leg down to the floor. That right leg is still upright. And then we're going to start to take the leg side to side. And let's externally rotate that right leg. And that external rotation happens from the thigh, right? The thigh, the knee, the shin, the toes turn out. And then we take the leg right to left. And we're not going to twist through our spine. We're just going to feel that right leg moving through space. And then let's try this motion with a little internal rotation, side to side. Good. And then let's bring the leg back to center. We'll rebend this left knee. And let's press the pinky side edge of that right foot into the band. And be mindful when you're tugging back on that band that it's not going to slip off of your foot. And then bring the foot back to center. So we start the toes facing towards you. And then we rotate the pinky side edge of the foot into the band. And then push your foot up toward the ceiling. Hold that for another second. And then we bring the foot back to center. Good. Hug that knee into the chest. Release the band to the side for a moment. Circle your ankle a couple times each direction. And then let's straighten that right leg down to the floor. Let the weight of the leg fully rest down. Notice that quiet breath. Again, the motion happening inside your lower torso, expansion and release. Good. And then let's start to bounce out that right knee vigorously up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Give a good shake, a little wiggle. Let's do it with both legs, knees up and down, legs in and out. Just let those muscles jiggle around. Let's get the arms up, wrists, hands, kind of using the floor as a little bit of feedback to push against and wiggle against. And then, good, have a moment. Just notice what you do. Subtle sensations, any sense of circulation, blood flow, right to left, left to right. Good. Let's try this on the other side. Both knees bend. And then let's bring that left foot into your strap. Left leg goes up. We'll start with the leg more in a neutral position. That right knee stays bent. Create that little tiny space between your lower back and the floor. And then we start to lower the leg down and pull right back up. Up and down a number of times. Again, the band is there to hold, catch the weight of the leg as it's going down. And you pull back on that band to bring the leg right back towards you. And then let's try that with a slight external rotation. Toes out. Knee turns out, thigh turns out toward the left side, and lifting and lowering. Good, and let's take this into a circle. That leg is still externally rotated. And you might just let, right, the trunk kind of go along for the ride of that leg motion. So the circle can be quite big. Again, because that band is there to support the leg lowering to the floor. And that band is there to help to tug on, to lift the leg back up. Good. Let's try that circle with a slight internal rotation of the leg. You might have to back off of that circle. This may not be a shape for every body, so just be really mindful of what you're feeling in your hip. If everything, feels okay, there might be a sense of stretch or maybe a little bit of discomfort or maybe just feels unfamiliar. Stay with it. If something doesn't feel quite right, something's off, then back off of this range, but continue with your circles. Just your thigh turn in a slightly different shape. Good. Back to center we go. Option to straighten that right leg to the floor. This might make this intensity of the stretch of the left leg a little more. This position a little more challenging, so you can always keep that right knee bent. And then we see about taking the leg side to side, right to left. And play with the rotation, internal, external. The leg is shifting slowly right to left. Wonderful. Good, let's bring the leg back to center. We bend that knee, release the strap, and then extend that left leg all the way down to the floor. Let the weight of that leg fully drop down. If the right leg isn't straight out, let's go ahead and straighten the right leg. And then one more time, let's start to bounce just that left knee up and down. And then we'll meet it with the right one. You can do both of them together, one at a time. Just shaking out. Give those wrists involved, hands, arms, shimmy. Turn the legs in and out, in and out, in and out. 5 more seconds, a little more vigorously. And then, good, have a moment. We pause, come into this 5 to 10 seconds of stillness so we can feel, sense what's changing, what's shifting, subtle motion inside of the body. Good, and then let's bend the knees and have your toes facing forward and sense that your ankles are right underneath your knees, and start to push your lower back into the floor. Or you can think of this, you bring your hands to your hip bones tilting backwards towards your low ribs, and then start to push down into the feet and lift the tailbone and the back of the sacrum, and then the lower back away from the floor and the middle back. And pressing your body weight right up to the tops of your shoulders and the back of your head. And then let's lift the arms here. So the wrists are right above your shoulders, and then take your spine all the way back down to the floor, one segment at a time. Good, floating the arms all the way back down to the mat. Let's do that 2 more times. So that segmented articulation, one segment of the spine at a time, curling, lifting away from the ground. Once we come up into this shape, let's bring the arms up, wrists above the shoulders, reaching those fingertips way up to the ceiling. And then we go down, down, down nice and slow all the way. Arms float down. Nice job. One more time on your own. A slow pace, steady pace. Sensing that the knees stay in line with your hips as you rise up. Steady pelvis. Pressing evenly through both of your feet. And a slow back down. Good. From this position, we're going to take our band and we're going to take that right in front of our hips. Hands either side of your hips, and we're going to tug down on that band. And we're going to lift straight up into the bridge this time. So let's lift up into the bridge, and then I want you to take your bum and your tailbone and tap it down to the floor first. So maintain a little extension through the lower spine as we're lowering the bum down. Sense that the shoulders aren't way up toward your ears. We're pushing those arms and those hands straight down into the floor to create some tension on that band. So we have something to push against as we come up and down in our bridge. Let's try this 4 more times. A push down into the feet to lift the hips up. Slow lowering down of the tailbone and the sitting bones. 2 more times. The push and the slow release. 1 more time. 1 or 2, depending on the pace that you're working at here. I'm going to do 1 more little tap down, pushing up. That's it. Good. And then the bum releases down. Let's bring the strap to the side, the feet out to the edges of the mat, arms out into our big open V shape, shoulders and elbows relaxed, and then start to windshield wiper your legs side to side, taking that twist as your legs go to the right side. Let's push the legs into the floor and see how it feels to engage that left bum a little bit and reach out through that left knee. That feels like a good, healthy, active stretch for you. Stay there. And if not, you can just relax into this shape, yeah? Up and over to the other side. We push the legs straight down into the ground again. On this side, with the knees to the left, we can push and engage that right side a tad more. And then let's be relaxed about it. Legs going through their full range, all the way side to side. Good, and let's go into our figure 4 stretch. We'll take that left ankle over your right thigh. Option to just step the right foot a little closer to your bum and hold here. Option 2, we lift that right foot away from the ground and push your ankle, left ankle and right thigh into one another. Arms to the sides. So we hold active in this. Ankle and thigh pushing together. And if you feel like there's a big throat or your shoulders or your heart's really arched sort of toward the, bent upward toward the ceiling, I would encourage you to bring something underneath your head. Then you might just start to add a tiny little twist here. If things are getting tired, and that right foot has been lifted, you can bring that right foot back down and add a little rocking of your hips side to side. Yeah. Good. Let's straighten that left leg down to the floor. Let it fully rest. The weight of the leg drops out, or just in the shape that it is most restful in. Good. And then let's try that on the other side. Right ankle over left thigh. Option to just step that left foot as close to the bum as possible and hold that shape. Next option, lift the thigh and push the ankle and the thigh into one another. We hold steady in the center. You can also play with your pelvis position here. What is it like? Does it decrease or increase the sensation of stretch if you're pushing your lower back into the floor? What happens if you lengthen your tailbone toward the ground or send those hip bones right away from the low ribs? And then see how it goes. Everything still feeling pretty good. You might increase that sense of stretch in certain parts of the hip and the bum if we take this gentle twist side to side. And you can also do this with that left foot down. Good, and then let's take this right leg down to the floor. Again, let the weight of the leg fully rest. And then let's meet that left leg down to the floor. See how this goes to rest your body weight fully here on the ground. Legs wide. Hands can rest back into that starting position where we began together. And if this shape does not feel relaxing for you, I'll encourage you to find a different leg shape or seated shape. I'm going to take this pause before entering the rest of the day, encouraging you to give yourself this moment to know that we have things coming next. We all have these full, abundant lives, and we can be here now. We can still give ourselves 1 minute to digest this experience and be in our bodies and notice the breath, even though we can anticipate and have lots of stimulus coming towards us. We can be here now at the same time. And let's take 2 balanced breaths, breathing in for a count of 5 and out for 5. One more breath like this. And start to make your way up to a seated shape. Be mindful of how you get there for your body. Very nice. So a second or two pausing in your seated shape, tuning back into the environment inside of this room and even to the outside of the room that you're in right now. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.